YouTube. If anybody is here on Facebook, say what's up. Let me click some. Let's see. I have to pull up the, let me pull up the other URL so I can see chats. Because I know somebody's in the house. Good. Okay, we got Facebook friends. Hey. Hey. All right, now I'm seeing the chats. What's up, Robot Hot Dog Man? Wow, what a username. Hidden Hood, Ryan, Noah, Jared. Hey, y'all, what's going on? Okay, now I can see my Facebook friends. Hi, Tony. Hi, Bill. Hi, Michael. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to turn on my Instagram Live. Let's go live. So, I'm very excited to be with all of you and do these. I'm now calling them love streams because we need all of the love, right? And by replacing one letter, I was like, you know what? Let's just make these love streams because we can't have enough of that. We can't have too much of that. And I want to spend this time checking on all of you. You know how we do. It's just like a little hangout. What up, IG fam? I don't know about all of you, but this last week has felt like months. And it feels it feels weird to be online in a way because there's been so much amazing discussions, conversation posts with very, very important topic of Black lives and the Black community. And, you know, it just doesn't feel like there's a right time to kind of go back to posting. But that being said, I mean, posting about other things. Social media is only like a tiny slivet. I'm just gonna make that word up. Tiny slivet of a peek into everybody's life. I know for me, like I'm continuing to learn and, you know, educate myself about many of the things that we're talking about on social media, having to do with Black community and racial injustice, and listening, a lot of listening this last week to wonderful web streams that have happened. Snarky Puppy had a really great live stream the other day with like all of their Snarky Puppy fam, and some really deep stories from members in the band who were asking questions, and they were talking about their stories. And so, you know, a lot of that's happening and continues to happen off social media. I know social media is kind of just like a window into our world. When I say our, I mean like artists, but I also really enjoy some quiet time that's not public, and by catching up with friends and reading and listening, you know, all these things are happening also behind the scenes. But I'm really happy to be here with all of you online, and this is our time to just hang, you know. So thank you for joining. Thank you for joining me. And also, I just got to say, like, John Batiste, who's a dear friend of mine, he's the band leader for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He held an incredible gathering last Saturday. It was a peaceful protest for our Black friends, for the music community. It was, let me say, the music community showed up, and it was amazing. And we used our instruments and our voices and our dance to walk from Union Square all the way down to like 8th Street, 9th Street. I think they kept going. I was with them for a couple hours, and it was really something. Really really an amazing and powerful, powerful day. So what's up, people? How you guys all doing, guys and gals? I don't have like an agenda really planned for this love stream. I'm just so happy to be here with all you. I got my big mama in hand, and maybe we'll just take a second to do some, I'm gonna just do some long tones. This is a little meditation for myself, and I invite you to join because I didn't do my meditation this morning. And for any of my sax players in the house, curious to know from all of you, do you feel like playing these long tones are this meditative thing? Or for actually anybody who plays or any singers, there's something so beautiful, so meditative about playing notes and having those vibrations almost like massage your body. I just love it. So let's get with it. Let's like all take some deep breaths. It's the middle of the day for some of us. Some of us it's 5 o'clock ET. And I could use some long tones. If you feel like doing it with me, please do. Let me make sure this is on. All right. The berry out today. It's good. Let's do I haven't really played much today, so it's good to get the fingers moving. So let's do some quiet to loud long tones. And if you're singing, sing along, or you can just do some deep breathing with us. Our musical meditation. You want to get a good onset. That's something that I'm working on baritone. And let's do a loud to quiet. That's hard for me on the big sax. I'm used to doing it on alto, but it takes like that much more, more air and control to get it quiet and loud. Let's just play some long notes. Adding some vibrato feels extra nice today. Actually, we could put that in. Do, woo, 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 woo. If you're singing, ooh. Am I getting too nerdy for anyone? There's probably people who are like, what are long tones? What are we doing? We're just holding out long notes and massaging our spirits and getting some good time in with our instruments. That's nice, right? A little vibrato shake. Oh. Tell me how that's going for all of you. William Stafford is saying too nerdy does not exist. Oh, phew. Good. Then I got some nerds in the house with me. Everybody, I could do that all day, but I'm not gonna. That's a good start. That's a good start. I like to do that on all my axes and vocally too, just to warm up the voice. Good to do those vocal sirens too, like I actually love doing that first thing and when I wake up in bed, because it's very like whimsical and playful, and it's also a great way to kind of wake up your vocal cords. You don't even have to be a singer for that. It just kind of wakes up everything going on. So yeah, okay, cool. Let me just read through some of these chats and see how y'all's are doing. Yes, this is a Yamaha baritone. This is the YBS 62. What's up, Danielle? I have been practicing my bass. Yeah, I'll play a little something. Do you want to hear something on the bass? I've made a little bit of progress. It's been so much fun. I've been having a blast. Day's going pretty well. Took a really long walk outside. Got some grub and working on a bunch of projects. Got team calls all through the meeting. Yeah, a lot of today's been a little bit more of a computer type of day. You feel me? So this feels good. This feels good. Yeah. When am I going to be touring again? Glenn S. I honestly don't know. I think it really depends on what happens with this virus and the pandemic. I had some tour dates that were rescheduled to start back up in August, and a lot of them have turned into virtual events. My hope, talking to my agent last week, is that I could be hopefully the whole music industry will be back and at it come the fall. Again, that's if everything kind of goes well with the virus. We want everyone to stay safe, and I really don't feel comfortable playing shows until I know that, all the venues are like set up right and that all of you are going to be like safe. And whether that means that we're going to have like much smaller crowds and do a socially distanced thing, that might be a thing, or it might become a lot more virtual stuff. But, I'll keep you updated all step of the way. I absolutely love being with all of you in person, and I'm just glad that there's a way that we can still connect even not being on the road. I'm really enjoying time at home a lot. It's the first time ever that I've been able to just be at home and have a regular routine. And a lot of those routine things also have to do with doing, it might be a creative day. It might be a creative part of the day, then doing music business stuff. But doing all of these things, it's great to be able to sleep in my own bed, and I get to wake up every day at the same time in the same time zone, which is a kind of foreign thing for me, and not have to worry about 3 a.m. Lobby calls. So my body is much happier, and for the first time in a really long time, I've been able to stick back to my morning routine, which I love. I feel my best when I can wake up. Basically what I do, if anyone's interested in knowing. Anyone want to know what I do? I love this question, actually. I'm curious to know what your morning routines are, because to me they're so important, because they really set you up for the day right, or at least they set me up for the day right. I like to get my body, my mind, my spirit, everything just moving and grooving. And so it really starts with waking up and going straight to my meditation routine, which is like 20 minutes of just meditating. And then I have, actually, this might be interesting to some of you, both creative folks and and people who do creative stuff as their job, and people who are creative for fun, which I believe is all of us. I really think we're all creative beings. And I'll show you my journal. So I'm a huge fan of Julia Cameron's. She has an amazing book called The Artist's Way. And it's for any creatives who are feeling like stuck. And she has very enlightening things to say about the creative process and how to really be able to sit down and have creativity on demand, like a creative tap. And one of the big things that she teaches, and I'm curious if anybody has heard of this, is called morning pages. Anybody heard of morning pages? I absolutely love it. It's become a really important part of my morning routine. And it's just right after I meditate, I have my pen out and you write 3 pages. And you just do, you don't think about what you're writing. It doesn't have to be anything creative. It's just whatever's on your mind. And I've been doing it for a while now. So you can see there's, I don't know, when did I start this? This is a big book. And I have all these extra pages, everybody, from like when I would travel a lot. And then I just didn't want to bring all the big books. So, and the thing is, you're not supposed to read it. Like, I think you're only supposed to go back to the morning pages and read it after you finish the full thing. But it's really like judgment free. This is just whatever is coming up. I started this August 21st in 2019. And it's cool. I like to use a lot of colored pens. So there's just a lot of writing in it. And once in a while, it kind of spark a song or an idea. But the idea of morning pages is not to do songwriting or pressure yourself into anything like a piece of work. It's really just to get that creative well flowing. So I do that. I wake up, I do my morning pages. I have my cup of coffee, very important. Love my cup of coffee. And then I do a workout. I do like a 30-minute workout, the strength training, cardio. And then I feel good. I'm like, all right, let's take on the world. I don't open any digital stuff in the morning, no social media, no emails. Like, I just want to take my time to kind of get myself right and try to become, bring the best grace to the table. And I love it. I've never been more consistent with getting to do this really special morning routine. So it's cool. It's real cool. Do you have a morning routine or a favorite thing that you like to do in the morning? It's particularly special to do when I'm at home because sometimes on the road, it's like I will prioritize sleep over everything. I'm an 8-hour plus girl. But it just doesn't happen sometimes on the road if you can only get like 4 hours. So I'm not going to wake up, 3 hours in to journal and work out and do all that. I'm going to get my sleep. So, yeah. Oh, somebody's heard about a theater director I wrote for. This is coming from Twitch. A theater director I wrote for asked me to read the Artist's Way book. Never managed to. Highly recommend though? ? Yes. Around 700. That's your username. Highly recommended. It's pretty life-changing. I was actually listening to a great podcast with Tim Ferriss and Elizabeth Gilbert. Elizabeth wrote that book, Eat, Love, Pray. And she has some very interesting creative habits. And she talks about Julia Cameron and The Artist's Way and how that, she said without that book, The Artist's Way, there would be no Eat, Love, Pray. And she talks about her whole journey. That was a really fascinating podcast. So what else has been going on? What else can I tell you? So I'm so stoked because have you all heard of the band Fearless Flyers? They are so funky, and many of the members are the same members from the band Wolfpack. Anybody got some Wolfpack fans in the house? Anyone? Oh, I see some hearts. Oh, if you don't know Wolfpack, they are dope. They are so funky. I remember hearing I just love their songs, love their vibe. I love their music videos. I've been fans of theirs for years. Now I know the guys really well. I remember hearing Christmas in LA for the first time years ago and being like, who is this band? This is amazing. And so I started to go down the rabbit hole of listening to all their music and watching their videos and became fans of each individual member and love Theo Katzman stuff and Corey Wong. And I had no idea back then, years ago, that I'd be playing with them. They have there's another band that's under Wolfpack's label called Fearless Flyers, and again, made up of many of the same members. And they just recorded the new album is released, and yours truly is playing the Big Mama on it. And if you haven't seen it, there's a bunch of YouTube singles that are dropping. They did a pressing of their vinyl, which I think might be done. It was only the month of May, but now they have these really cool hoodies and shirts for swag. And Corey Wong, incredible singer, incredible songwriter and guitarist, he hit me up for the session, and I've been a fan of Corey's for a long time now. And we started talking on the internet through direct messaging on Instagram quite a while ago, years ago, or maybe a year ago, and was like trying to meet on multiple occasions. Wanted to go to their show I wanted to go to Wolfpack's show at Madison Square Garden, which they had sold out. Madison Square Garden, insane. That was last year. But then I was on the road, so I couldn't meet them then. And we have a lot of mutual friends. But then I was so excited when Corey hit me up about playing on the Fearless Flowers' newest record. And so we recorded it in LA last January. It was like the January 1st through the 4th. And these charts are awesome, everybody. Like, the music is so good. But it was like it was really something to prepare for it because, you know, this is not my main act. I love her. I love her. But I just, you know, I don't really like think of baritone being as fluid to me as alto. But I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing opportunity for me to really get to know Big Mama really well before the session. And I got the music like a month ahead before the Fearless Flowers session. And some of it was really fast and really hard. And I was like, ooh, I gotta shed baritone. And it was an amazing time. So I figured I'd play a little bit of the song that just came out today on Wolfpack's YouTube page and on all the places that you find music. So you guys can all check it out after the stream if you want some great music to listen to and cool stuff to watch. And they put us all in uniform. It's super dope. So this song is called The Bird Watcher. And when I was doing the sectionals with the horn section, which Michael Nelson he arranged all amazing arrangements, and he was leading us through how to articulate every single thing. At the end of doing the sectionals, all the horn cast were called the Delta Force horn section. We all thought it'd be really fun to just sound like birds, so we started to do like, and you'll hear it at the end of the video. If any of you watch this afterwards, just send me a message and tell me what you think of the bird call at the end. But that was like a little fun thing that we added, that us horn section ended at the end. So I'll give you a little taste of the berry part for the Bird Watcher, the latest release from Fearless Flowers. It's in a slightly different key, but you'll hear it. It's a fun one. Oh, it's a little faster. I think love that part. I'm gonna play that again. It's cool. It's like if the berry sax was a bird, what bird would it be? Especially playing a line like that. I think in the recording it's even faster. That's more the speed. It's fun to pull out some of the PDFs from a while ago. I haven't played it in a while, but I gotta say that the month that I was leading up to the recording, I was playing it all the time. So tell me, what bird would the Big Mama be? I want to let's get some bird names. Let's see. Please tango. Oh, I don't. Coffee. Okay, Joe Dart. I got Derek. I think you'll appreciate this. So Joe Dart is just such a dope. He's so dope. I think I said to him at the end of the session, I was like, Joe, it has been such a pleasure doubling bass lines with you. And I really genuinely felt that the whole session. I was like, like fangirling out. And then there was a lot of times, like in this particular song, we were playing a ton of we're just doubling bass lines. And so I was really trying to listen to the way he was articulating it. But obviously there's a little bit of a difference of how like a bass and a baritone can articulate things. So I was like just totally loving every moment of that. Okay. Wait. Okay, back to the bird question. I don't know what bird Tursus is. Tursus? I don't know that bird. Britta the bluebird. The deep chicken. I love that. A bald eagle. Okay, so there we go. We have a bunch of different bird titles for Big Mama while playing the fearless flyer, the bird watcher. So, I have another really I think, well, maybe it's interesting this might be an interesting story. So I was so excited for this session. Thinking back to this story now, it's interesting, but at the moment let me say, when it happened, I was so miserable. Like, oh, it's so bad. Okay, so let me tell you the story. I was out in LA. This was on January 1st, getting ready for the session that I had been so excited about for like over 2 months. Really shedding hard, just pumped up, practicing in the hotel room. And before the session started, I decided to go out to LA a little earlier with my boyfriend. We decided to make a little road trip out of it. We were going to spend some time in LA, and then we're going to go up the coast and visit some fam in San Jose. And so my friend, who I know from years ago, my friend Ara is a really amazing acro artist. This guy can do headstands and fly in the air, unbelievable dancer. So Ara right now is touring with, or not right now, he was touring with Disney on Ice back when we were all performing and doing like his worldwide tour. And so we saw that we're all in LA on Instagram, saw that he was in Long Beach performing like the next night. So we all started messaging each other and we're like, yo, we got to hang out. Like, and then he's like, come see the show. So Pasha, my boyfriend, me and Pasha were like, yeah, heck yeah. So we go to Long Beach and super excited to meet up with Ara. I actually had the sax with me because I had just picked up the baritone sax from my Yamaha family who hooked me up for the session. And we all decided to go out to eat. And there were a couple restaurants that were options near the water. And one of them was P.F. Chang's. So we're like, oh, let's eat at P.F. Chang's. But then they had a really long wait. And we're like, well, let's go next door and see what's there. And so there was a seafood place. And we're like, all right, we'll do this. And we ordered some catfish, jambalaya, and some like fried duck wings. And it was delicious. And we saw the show and it was awesome. And I was so happy. And I had my frozen banana and I was eating it and like screaming like a kid. So pumped to see Ara. And I love Disney music so much. And the production was really cool. And then that night, my boyfriend got really sick with food poisoning. And that was New Year's Eve. Yeah, that was New Year's Eve. So we had plans to meet a bunch of friends and party and have fun, and those plans did not happen. He was so sick. It was like one of the sickest I've seen him, and it was awful. I was so worried. But then the next day, we were meeting up with a friend of mine. Pasha was feeling better at that point. So we went out with Mehdi, really a dear friend of mine and a collaborator. And we went to this great Korean place to eat some yummy food. And then this is the night before the Fearless Flyer sessions starting. And so anyways, I go to bed, ready to get like a really good night of sleep so I can like be on it for our recording day. And sure enough, I wake up at 3 a.m. with awful food poisoning. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm just like sick. And I was like, what? How does this hit me a whole day after? I still don't really get that, but I guess like our systems kind of process this stuff differently. And you guys and gals, I was up all night before the session. And so then the next day I'm like, oh my God, can I play this session? Like I was so weak. Also, I'm playing baritone on it. And it's not even my horn because I'm like using Yamaha's axe. I don't even know if I can walk, to be really honest. That was my first time having food poisoning. And like, if you have never had it, I hope you never have it because it was just so rough. And it was like bad seafood. But I was like, I'm gonna do this. I gotta do the session, you know? And this was also particularly, let me just say it was really awkward for me because I had never met any of, minus Alekos, who was playing alto, I had never met anybody else. So I was literally walking in to this session with the Fearless Flyers. Oh, I know Nate Smith. I know Nate. And I was like, oh, God darn it. Like now I'm gonna have to explain that I had food poisoning and like I don't know if I can get through this session without like vomiting. And I had taken I think like Tylenol, charcoal. Anyways, I got there and it's an incredible thing how the body kind of pulls things together with adrenaline. Like I managed to get through all of the takes, but let me tell you, like in between takes was not so fun. And I'm really glad that there is a place to there were bathrooms available to hide out in. I was sick, like throwing up for like 2.5 days. And the session was only 3 days long. So basically on the last day of the session, I walked in that morning and I was like, yes, like I'm so pumped to feel good today. And that was the only night that I joined them for dinner. Then the other really weird thing that happened is after one of the songs, like the baritone just like decided to fall apart a little bit. Like one of the screws just fell out of the bari and literally this whole top, which is very intricate, you just can't play it if there aren't certain screws. And this didn't have to do with anything. Like the horn was perfectly good. It was amazing. It was a great horn. It was just a loose screw. And so the screw fell out and I was like, oh my God, like this started to fall out. And I'm just so weak at this point because I'm really sick. And God bless the amazing horn section that was with me. We were all on the ground with my bari and like they had screwdrivers with them. We were trying to piece this thing back together. And it was also like the last take of the day. And after that, I called my fam at Yamaha and shout out to Rory. Rory called and he was like, Grace, I'm going to bring you my personal bari tomorrow morning. And he drove all the way to my hotel to get the bari I was working with to swap it out with his personal bari and literally save the day because I was like, I don't know who to go to. I don't know who could fix this horn. I don't live in LA anymore. Also, I don't really know exactly what happened. It'd be great if I could piece it together, but we as a horn section tried for like 20 minutes and it's like the rest of the band was listening to the take. And I think they were like, what are you guys doing? Because we're just like all on the ground with screwdrivers trying to figure this thing out. Anyways, it's a long story, but Thanks, Ed. Ed's saying amazing story because you nailed those notes. Thank you so much. No, I'm so thrilled with how it came out. Now watching it, I'm like, I can really enjoy it. In the moment, I just thought I was going to collapse on the ground. And it was one of those really bizarre moments where I was like, this incredibly cool thing is happening that under normal circumstances, if I was feeling like I usually feel, would be psyched out of my mind. And then this other part of me was like, please, please just take me home. I will just need to get into bed. And when is this ever gonna, like, when can I get into bed? And it was like both of these voices going on while trying to like nail really, some songs are really hard and fast and really require a lot of concentration when I'm healthy. Never mind when I'm in like a dazed state of feeling like I'm going to fall over any minute. So I got to say the guys really helped pull me through that. And the last day was glorious. It really, I was so excited to get to hang and feel like normal Grace again. Anyways, that's little story time. for those of you, you're always asking me for some behind the scenes. So that's some behind the scenes stuff, everybody. I don't think you would find that out any other way except through me. So yeah. I told you I was going to give you a little update on bass. Let me show you what I'm certainly no Joe Dart, and I don't think I'll ever be. That's not really my ambition on bass is not to become like not to take years to learn how to play virtuosic bass, but more just to like be able to jam with people and be able to accompany myself. Yeah, that bass. She still doesn't have a name, but gosh, she's pretty. She is so pretty. And I also just love the sound coming out of this gal. I gotta name her. What should I name her? So the last time you all saw this bass, I was actually just unboxing her for the first time, which was very exciting. I can't remember if she's like a present or if maybe she's just a present for being home. I'm not sure. Anyways, any reason to get some more gear, right? Any reason to get some more clothes and to get some new instruments and mics. I think I got a mic on the way. So let me see. Let's get some audio for her. Hold on, I think I did that wrong. Bear with me. So, oh, that's loud. Can you hear her? Can you hear her? So, I have been loving being able to sing and play at the same time because it's something I don't get to do on sax. Not that I'm proficient at bass, but I can like play now just some notes, and even just playing a few notes, I love to be able to sing with it. So I learned the other day that it's important, and if there are any bass players watching, please give me some tips. I'm in dire need of tips. But I learned that you rest your thumb. This is probably such beginner stuff for those of you who play, but I honestly didn't know how to position anything while playing the bass. So I learned to rest my thumb on the lower string and then like pull through. You want to kind of pull through to the string. Because I think at first it was just like plucking up, but so now I'm like pulling through. And what else? That's really what I've just been practicing to try to get like a even-ish tone. Yeah, so I was just like jamming the other night. Yeah. It's still not, I gotta figure out how to play notes cleanly without it going like, you know. But I just love. Oh, I also learned, okay, Matt's giving me some good advice here. You can use your thumb to pluck for a more subtle tone. Oh, cool. Oh, I like that. Oh, Matt, that's a great tip. Can you give me another one? I don't know if I'm doing the slap properly, but I like that with the thumb. So some of you are probably just like, play the saxophone, but this is really fascinating for me because I love the process of learning like a new instrument. Everybody's saying to watch Adam Neely's bass lessons. Adam's like he's doing like advanced stuff on bass. I need to learn how to like just play a few things. Adam's dope. Because all of you were commenting back saying like, go check out, I asked who I should follow to learn some bass stuff or like what course I should take online. And thank you all for your great suggestions. A lot of people said Adam and Davey on YouTube, but I think that's still a little advanced for me right now. I like to learn very methodically. So I'm really like kind of a stickler about, even for those, you all know this if you've ever heard me talk about saxophone stuff. I'm like, you need to stand this way and put your posture should be this and you breathe like this, because I think it's very important when you are learning an instrument for the first time to develop good habits. Otherwise it's really hard to, you got to unlearn it and relearn it afterwards. So the other thing I've learned is how to play an octave. Oh, this is out of tune. I haven't tuned it. But I like that. Ugh. I'm still having a hard time getting like clean sounds out of it, but so I just like the idea of being able to. Someone told me I should watch Adam Neely's bass videos, but I think they're far too advanced for me. And I'm just trying to learn how to hold the bass. I'm just trying to learn how to have the right bass face. One day I'll get to the point where like Joe Dart with his neck and be like, bass players always look so cool. So if you have any suggestions of bass videos for beginners, yeah, I also like how I can sing like the same melody while playing, like even on a very simple level. Like I get so nervous as I'm doing this in front of you. When I'm at home, I can just like goof around, but I feel like the performer part of me is like, must perform. But I'm learning. I'm like such a beginner, so you know, if you don't want to listen to me talk about bass, you could always close your screen. But anyways, so yeah. I think it's so cool to be able to take me for a ride, baby. And then I also like being able to harmonize with myself. Like roots, but then da 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 dum, da 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 dum da dum dum, da 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 dum, yeah. And I also think another really groovy part about playing bass has been, it's been very inspiring to write different types of music. And I think by having like something that's very bassline driven, oh gosh, like even that. So I like I like the process of picking up an instrument and just being able to write a new song. So I've actually already started tracking some new ideas, just starting with the bass. For some reason, I guess this makes sense because like different instruments really inspire me in different ways. If I sit down at the piano, it's a lot easier for me to write like a ballad, like trying to figure it out. If I sit down with a saxophone, it's a lot easier for me to write like something very jazzy and like if I need to write horn lines, I'm definitely gonna have my axe out. If I want to write something maybe a little more indie and like groovy, it feels really good to have the bass in hand and just like come up with some stuff. So yeah, it's been fun. Yesterday Pasha and I rocked out a bit. He was playing his Flying V and we were playing some metal. Or he was. I was just trying to play some bass lines, which was so much fun. It was like... It's a little bit frustrating right now because I went through the same thing with saxophone, so I know what this process is like. But when I was first learning saxophone, I had so many ideas in my head that I wanted to play. Like, I just couldn't, though, because I wasn't technically there. And that's something that just takes patience, and you just break down the things that are in your head. You slow it down. Great ear training exercise to be able to sing the things that are in your head and then be able to slowly go through them on your instrument. But I remember it was always a rat race of like trying to get my technique to the place where music was happening in my head because I was just hearing so many things, and it was frustrating to not be able to just play them. But it's important to, you know, be patient with ourselves as we play new instruments. So yeah, I'm having fun, and thank you for. So am I nailing the bass face right now? Yeah. So thank you for your suggestions. There've been some really good bass comments and suggestions. Keep them coming because I'm gonna keep just like practicing. Play just before the fret with your left hand. That will clean up your sound. Okay, so like here. That's better. That's better. Right? Instead of in the middle of the fret. That's what you're saying. So this is where I was playing, but closer to the fret. I've heard that before too, yeah. What am I supposed to do with my wrist? Because right now, like I'm holding it, but it's like my wrist is kind of turned out. Is it supposed to be more like parallel? Or is it just supposed to be like relaxed? I think it's supposed to be relaxed. Yeah. So anyways, good hang, everybody. I really love hearing from you. I love the energy of being together on these love streams. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of these stories. I just, you know, this is not a concert. The love streams aren't concert. There are some concert and more proper virtual performances coming up. One of them is with the folks at the Korea Society. They are doing an interview with me, and I'm playing a few songs. And Will is going to be interviewing me on on Monday, June 22nd. So I put those events up on my Bands in Town. So definitely tune in for that. And then I'm just kind of, I have dates every week to do love streams with you. And yeah, I saw some really great questions too. I want to keep track of them because I think that's the other thing that we can kind of, I want to answer some of your questions while we're here on this live stream. Yeah, shout out to Julia Adamy. My bass, Julie's been playing bass in my band for years. She's so dope. I know someone wrote, Julia! She's so funky. There was a question of how do I divide my time with playing different instruments? So one thing that I really like to do is I like to keep all my axes out. So you can't see it right now, but to the right of me, I have my bari, my tenor, my alto, my soprano. All the instruments are out. And the reason why is it's important to just see them, and then I'll pick them up and I'll play them. If they're in their case, you know, it's just, then you got to take them out, blah, blah, blah. And so even if it's just like, I have a musical idea in my head and I like see the bari, I might just pick it up for like a few minutes and just get at it and do a little video, record that. I don't really have a structured way of being like bass for 20 minutes, like saxophone for an hour, vocals here. To me, it's this very fluid thing. Music is this very fluid thing of, I might be working on a new song and just be like, oh, let me pick up the bass and see what comes out. I think I go in with a very different mentality when I'm trying to practice something very technical versus when I'm just like messing around and having fun and like writing music, which has been a lot of my process this day of just like writing music. But for example, when I was working on the Fearless Flyers session, I was really calendaring in like 2 hours. I'm like, this is 2 hours. I'm just going to work on this material. And because my schedule is really, really busy too, I don't have the same luxury that I did when I was first learning saxophone to be able to allot like all my time to practicing, just because there's a lot of other things that we as professional artists have to do. Everything from, yes, creating, but social media and emails and music business and calls and texts and, you know, shows, live streams. There's a lot of other things that are really behind the scenes, but are happening on a very constant basis and need attention. So for that, I really needed to just calendar in like, all right, this is just like practicing with a metronome, trying to get this faster, playing with the recordings. And so it kind of depends like, yeah, what the given goal is for the flavor of the day. But I love kind of circulating around different instruments. Sometimes I just pick up the guitar and I start to like write some songs. I actually like picking up instruments that I don't like properly play. There's something really cool about that. I'm curious if you feel that same way. The reason why it's cool is because I know music theory, you know, like I can't even turn it off. I know music theory in my head. I'm like listening to recordings and I'm like the nerd part of me is like, oh, like flat 9, oh, major 7, like sharp 11. And so it's like, I think it's because of, you know, this professional thing that I've studied, it's kind of hard to turn that voice off sometimes. So there's something really cool about just being with a bass and not even necessarily knowing what notes I'm playing, but I'm like, that sounds good. Maybe like the way that someone might just approach an instrument if they knew nothing about it for the very first time. Same with the guitar, like, this sounds good. What melody would I sing with that? So I'm really digging that. Speaking of which, I have a question for all of you. Speaking of writing and melodies. So for those of you who have taken part in past online workshops that I've been a part of, both myself and Leo P., who I think a bunch of you might know our collaboration. We have a little band called Two Saxy. We've been holding online workshops where we've been doing a lot of saxophone technique stuff and improv stuff. So coming up, we're both going to be doing solo workshops. And then we're going to be coming back together and doing Two Saxy stuff. Leo's workshop was actually just announced today via anyone who's on the Two Saxy email list. He's doing a techno house saxophone workshop, which is going to be dope. And that's going to be announced on socials real soon. And for me, I'm going to, and that one for him is happening on June 20th, not this Saturday, next Saturday. Now I'm going to do my personal workshop the next week, probably on a weekday, like June 23rd on Tuesday. And I've yet to announce it, but I'm a little bit, I'm a little torn, and I'm hoping you can give me some clarity right now, because I want to do a workshop about something that you'd want to sign up for. That'd be helpful for those of you musicians out there. So I was thinking I'd either hold a songwriting workshop where we'd go into, we talk about how to get over creative blocks, how to find the subject that you want to write about. This could be for vocalists and for instrumentalists. It's kind of the similar process of starting a song, and just different strategies that you can use for writing a song. So that was one idea that I thought would be really cool. And I could do a little bit of a breakdown of my song Feels Like Home and kind of share with you how I wrote that and give you some strategies for writing your own song. I think songwriting is super, super powerful, and especially now in this time, right? We're just, gosh, I don't know about you, but there's so many emotions toiling around. There's no better time to be writing songs and expressing ourselves. And then the other thing I was thinking about that I feel passionate about, that a lot of students I notice are also asking about, is to do like a transcription workshop. I'm thinking of maybe splitting that up to be a transcription and an ear training workshop. So that would be kind of the first steps into how to do transcribing. And transcribing is a great tool for learning language in jazz and in music, but there's more steps than just like listening to a thing and playing it. There's a lot you can do with actually taking what you learned, analyzing it, putting it into different musical contexts, strengthening your vocabulary by using what you learned in the transcription. And ear training is a very important thing for everybody, for all musicians to be developing. So I don't know, I'm torn. I just want to pick the next workshop, my very first solo workshop. So who's down for songwriting? And who's down for transcription / ear training? Let me see what y'all say, and that will definitely help me decide what to teach, because I want to teach you things that are going to be helpful for you. George, it's coming along. Okay, so Isaac is saying songwriting. And the other thing about songwriting, everybody, is like this would be open to people who are also like just starting their songwriting journeys, and also for people who are in it and want to refine and get better. Songwriting is such a personal process, so I feel like there's some good ground rules that will really help you, but there's a lot of personal creativity that comes from that. So that one's, I think, that one's definitely would be open to all. Okay, so Lou's saying yes to ear training. So maybe, okay, and then someone saying transcription would be great. Songwriting, cool. A couple more for songwriting, another one for transcription, another one for songwriting. Okay, so that's great to know. Maybe I'll just stick with my initial idea of starting with songwriting. And we could always go into some transcription and ear training in a future workshop. But yeah, I just didn't know what to do for the next one. So that's really helpful to know. Both would be great, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know too. That's kind of like my feeling too, as far as just when I've been teaching my students things that they have kind of been stuck on, and things that I have like my process for and might be helpful for you. Cool. Songwriting. Someone said I'm in for songwriting. Oh, there's another songwriting. Please do songwriting. Like, I can write a song, but what makes it a good song? Ooh, yeah, that's really key. I'm going to write that down. Songwriting. Personally, transcription, ear training would be really helpful from William. Ear training. Okay, that's interesting. Some people just want to are just perking up with ear training, and then some people are just perking up for transcription. Maybe they should be separate ones, all of them. There's definitely a lot to talk about within each individual thing. All right. Well, good to know. Some people are saying both. Super into writing piano scores. I'm just recently started playing, and it's frustrating because I write too hard of songs. Been there. By the way, Instagram is going to kick me off in a minute and 31 seconds. So we're going to wrap this up soon. But thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Someone saying both would be great. I'm a bassist. I remember music by shapes. Don't know what should be the next phase. That's so interesting because as a woodwind player, it's like the opposite. Like I don't remember anything from literal shapes. It's just such an interesting way to look at different instruments. I think that's a really cool thing about learning bass, that it's just kind of, you can keep that same shape. Nothing's like that on the saxophone. Transcribing chords. Transcribing. Good for you, Aubrey. That's great. It's one of the best things you can be doing. Stage presence and positive energy. Ooh, yes. Got something coming for you, Derek, in the near future that speaks on that. Yeah. Eartraining, transcription. Well, it seems like a pretty even thing from all of y'all. So I got to hold them all. There you go. All right, everybody. IG's going to kick me off, and I think it's that time. Let's all meet soon. I've posted on my Bands in Town when the next stuff is, so make sure to follow me there so we can realign and come together. Ooh, 15 seconds! That countdown, though. All right, much love to you. Ciao, IG. And YouTube, Facebook. Thanks so much for tuning in. I know I talked a lot. On this one, but it's fun. What can I say? It's so fun hanging with all y'all. So thanks for tuning in. Much love to you, and I'll see you all at the next one. Be well.